Hey guys, it's getting real in the field out there with regard to you being able to control your financial destiny, your day-to-day finances even. Banks and the U.S. government, and governments around the world actually, they've tasted power, like a dog, a domesticated dog. If he bites someone and tastes blood, man, that is going to change the character of that animal, okay? And the beast that is the governments of the world, they have tasted blood in the form of massive amounts to control every little discrete aspect of our lives, including our finances, especially our finances. And they're now addicted to it. Governors are tyrants. They prove themselves to be the most susceptible to tyranny. The Congress, they have that in their minds, but they're such a, diverse, organization, over 500 people, that they can't really exercise individual control. But governors sure can. The president, he can make executive orders, but they only affect the executive branch of government, all right? As the United States Supreme Court rightly showed Joe Biden with regard to his mandates. Now, let me say this before we go forward. Share these videos because YouTube does not like what I'm talking about. That's why I'm also going to publish this on Rumble and Facebook as well. YouTube does not like us examining exactly what's going on with your money. They want you to be a pawn. This video will probably get about 12 views total. Seriously, on YouTube. But we're going to put it on Rumble and some other places, and I'm asking you to also share the video if you agree with what I'm saying here. Let people know that they've got to start paying close attention to their finances and educating themselves. Otherwise, they're going to be pawns of the system. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, increasingly, we're seeing a type of globalization in terms of control of the citizen by virtue of their, or by way of finances. We're seeing it up in Canada right now with this protest that they're having. Okay, one of their ministers came out here recently and said that Trump supporters here in America should be worried that we're going to have our bank accounts frozen if we donate to the protesters. Okay, now let's talk about those protesters for a second. Are they up there burning down cities? We saw that here in America, okay? And we saw certain news organizations say to us that, no, it's peaceful. Buildings burning in the background, but it's peaceful. Don't worry about it. Remember Baghdad Bob? Okay, so these truckers up there, they've been painted as racist. That's the way, that's the go-to. If the left doesn't like what you're talking about, then of course you're a racist, all right? They've even painted a lot of black people with that term, racist. And then they come out and say, oh, you're an Uncle Tom, which shows their ignorance because it proves they've never really read Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. Because if they did, they would know that they're giving you a compliment when they call you Uncle Tom. So we've got this minister up in Canada, okay? He's feeling his oats, and he's, tasted tyranny, and he loves it. And he's saying, and it's the justice minister, by the way, up there, a man by the name of David Lametti. He says that Trump supporters who donated money to the Canadian Freedom Convoy should, quote, be worried, unquote, about having their bank accounts frozen. Well, fuck these banks, okay? It's about time that people understand how much control they have over the system. Now, collectively, we need to start to understand that we can build our own monetary systems, okay? There are mechanisms by which we can achieve financial freedom outside of this system. And we talk about gold and silver all the time. That's one way. I've got this idea where I'm going to talk to certain vendors that we do business with, and I'm going to ask them, hey, are you interested in trading in silver with me, or depending on the price of the service or product, gold? And I'm going to try to set up my own little, nuclear, my own little, biosphere of commerce to the extent that I can. All right. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because I don't watch television, especially news. Okay. My wife and I, and let me correct something. We do watch television, but none of the modern stuff. We're working our way back through the 80s in the heat of the night, okay, with Carol O'Connor. Yeah, because it's wholesome, okay? We don't have to worry about sitting there and being surprised by some messaging that this system of things wants us to key in on. So what does this have to do with finance? Well, again, the banks, and this guy Lametti is asserting that if they don't like what you've done in terms of what amounts to support of a cause, right? If they don't like that, then they're going to interfere with your ability to do business with your bank. Now, the banks would be crazy as hell to go along with this, simply because it's definitely going to impact their business negatively over time. I haven't donated to that convoy, but I tell you what, if the institutions that I do bank with were to come out and start to seize or disconnect accounts of people who have, guess what? I'm going to find a new bank. All right. I'm not a big fan of hers, Candace Owens, but she has a point when she says that what we need to do is build relationships with community banks and come out of these relationships with these larger banking institutions. And look, I'm speaking as an investor who can divest himself of his shares anytime he wants to, shares in JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. If they get a little too froggy, man, I'm out, because I'm not going to support tyranny. And if you want to do that by way of commerce and personal financial freedom, I'm not with it. Just like any restaurant that plays along with these mandates, I will never patronize them ever again. I don't care if it's a chain of restaurants. I don't care if it's just a one-off, little local place. If you play along with the mandates, I'm done with you, okay? So businesses have to really think in their minds about whether or not they want to comply with this sort of control that the government is trying to foist upon us, the citizen, through private businesses. Okay, that's a form of socialism because in a way it's seizing the means of production in a way. Now look, as I've said before, no one on this platform knows whether I have the shot or not. If I do have it, I'm not showing anybody a vaccine card unless they're a doctor or, a nurse or something like that. I will be damned if I will go into a restaurant and share with the maitre d' any aspect of my personal healthcare situation. Ain't happening, okay? I don't care what you're serving. I don't care how good. You know what I've learned to do over this whole 2-year period? My wife and I have learned to make these things that we used to go out and get. We've learned to make these things at home. Just made a dynamite milk and carrot juice that we used to get from that we still get from a Jamaican spot that we love. Okay, and their consistency has not changed throughout this whole thing, and we love them. But we've learned to make that, okay, among other things. So let me get back to this guy in Canada, this fruitcake, who's talking about anybody who and notice he says Trump supporters, as if you can only donate to this as an American if you're a Trump supporter. This is how these people, this is the two-dimensional thinking that these idiots engage in, okay? All right, so the reporter says you just compared people who may have donated to this to the same people who may be funding terrorism. And so the guy comes back and says, Marinetti, whatever. He comes back and says, I just want to be clear here, sir. A lot of folks say, look, I just don't like the mandates and I donated to this. Now it's illegal. Should I be worried that the bank now can freeze my assets? What's your answer? Actually, the reporter said that, not Manetti, spaghetti. Well, this is what he does say. I think if you're a member of a pro-Trump movement who's donating hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to this kind of thing, they ought to be worried. This little insignificant, if it wasn't for government, this idiot would probably be curled up with a I work for food sign on under some, building somewhere because he wouldn't be able to make things work without the lowered expectations of modern government bureaucracy. But he fits right in there and is able to come out and make these types of pronouncements. Guy's name is Lametti, Lametti. Lame, lame is what he is. So he's aptly named. Earlier this week, the Trudeau regime warned that anyone who supported or donated to the Freedom Convoy protest could have their bank accounts frozen under emergency powers laws. Quote, this is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. Trudeau's Deputy Prime Minister Chrysanthia Freeland said during a press conference on Monday. Notice how, I want you to notice something. Notice how world hunger, human trafficking, the drug trade, cancer, the common cold. Notice how none of these governments have synced up to fight these ills. Okay, notice that. But notice that when it comes to a protest of inconvenience. Now, you know, here in this area, when the left was blocking streets all over America, when the left was blocking streets in their protest, it was all good. You know, oh, you can't say anything about that. They have every right to disrupt you on your way to work, even though you're not making policy. Okay, that was what, you know, the left and the media were running with. But now, since you find, and I'm not even going to say the right, because that's how they want it characterized, but there are plenty of people on both ends of the political spectrum and in the middle who have had enough of tyranny, okay? Have had quite enough. And if you go out and you start to talk to people, you will find, yeah, I voted for Biden, but I don't like this. Yeah, I voted for Trump, but I don't like the same thing he doesn't like, okay? So it's not this, you know, black and white, binary, straight down the middle, bifurcated issue like the media wants you to believe. And now they're talking more and more crap about getting into your bank account when they don't like what you're doing. And again, we did the video the other day talking about, well, crypto's the answer. Crypto will give us freedom, and crypto will allow us to do whatever the hell we want to do when we want to do it. Not hardly. This is from Reuters. The FBI to form digital currency unit. Justice Department taps new crypto czar. So yeah, they're going to let crypto do its thing, but they're going to control it so tightly that there will be no freedom in it in terms of you being able to do whatever the hell you want to do, like contribute to a protest that the governments of the world, you know, are trying to quash. All right. The Justice Department has tapped a seasoned computer crimes prosecutor to lead its new national cryptocurrency enforcement team and announced on Thursday that the FBI is launching a unit for blockchain analysis and virtual asset seizure. Blockchain analysis and virtual asset seizure. So what that means is they're going to be looking all throughout the blockchain that was supposed to be so secure and anonymous, and they're going to now have systems in place that are able to track transactions and seize assets. Okay? Quite simply. The same control they have over the banks. Okay? The creation of the FBI's Virtual Asset Exploitation Unit comes after the Justice Department's largest ever financial seizure earlier this month. It charged a married New York couple with allegedly laundering bitcoins, now valued at over $4.5 billion, that were stolen in a 2016 hack of the digital currency exchange Bitfinex. So see, here we go again. Just like with the Colonial Pipeline, we see that these transactions are traceable. They can trace it all the way back to whoever's involved in it. Bitcoin, crypto, it's not anonymous. It will not be, okay? And furthermore, the government, U.S. government, and other governments are saying they're going to control it. They don't like where it's going? They're going to seize it. Okay, all it is ones and zeros. Come on, guys. U.S. regulators under President Joe Biden have been ratcheting up their scrutiny of the crypto industry in the wake of a series of high-profile cyber attacks last year on the largest U.S. fuel pipeline and the world's largest beef supplier. Ransomware groups often demand their fees in Bitcoin. So see, they're going to couch this whole thing in, we're keeping you safe, guys. These ne'er-do-wells over here tried to do something funny. And look, let's go ahead and engage in some conspiracy theory here, all right? Because look at all the conspiracy theories that have been proven fact, from UFOs to everything in between, okay? You got the U.S. Navy telling you that, yeah, we don't know what those things are. So isn't it quite possible that, you know, some shadowy government entity might have initiated these things and come out with a catalyst for more control? In some of those cases, the FBI has been able to track down and recover some of the ransom. Cryptocurrencies rely on blockchain technology, a database shared across a network of computers in which records are difficult to change once added. In a speech at the Munich Cybersecurity Conference in Germany, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco announced that Yun Young Chao, a prosecutor who led the case against a Russian hacker who helped steal information about more than 80 million JP Morgan and Chase customers, will lead the department's crypto enforcement team. Okay, so this is just another way that the government is going to have an ability to go in and either prevent you from spending money. Again, go back into the videos and look at the one we did with regard to Saul Amrova and how she telegraphed what the government's ultimate goal is with regard to central bank digital currency. She said quite clearly, if this whole dollar is digitized, then what we'll be able to do is we will be able to prevent people from spending their money. And that way we can use that as a way to control inflation. Okay, so she was just so upfront about it that it telegraphs the goal. Okay, it's not like she said that and they said, oh, wait a minute, she's crazy, we can't have her. No, we withdraw the nomination. No, she had said that long ago. It was on record. They knew what this woman was all about. So they want to control your money. Again, you have got to start building your own bank, okay? And I've got a whole presentation that I'm working on that we're going to go through that in great detail, how to do that and what that bank should contain. And I'm going to tell you something else. Go out there and just start to try to figure out who you can do business with that's not in dollars, okay? Now, it's not going to be a tremendous amount of organizations that are willing to do that, but it could be places like a farm where you buy food from. Certain contractors you deal with could understand the value in real money, okay? And maybe start to protest in that way. Now, of course, because I'm talking about protest and I'm not talking about setting up an autonomous zone for leftists or, looting CVS. If I were talking about those things, this video would be made widely available. However, I'm talking about things from a more conservative standpoint. So this video is going to be suppressed on YouTube. I'm relying on you to hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, make a comment, share the video, hit the share button, share the video, hit the bell icon. I know I'm asking a lot, but look, let's beat them at their own game. Use the algorithm to make this video more widely available because things are changing very, very rapidly. And again, like I said, that rabid mutt that is the United States government, I love this country. I love this country, and I'm not even thinking about going anywhere. I don't care what happens. But that rabid hound, mangy hound, that is the bureaucracy of the United States of America, it has tasted blood. It has tasted tyranny. It likes it. It wants more of it. And it knows that there's a great degree of control it can exercise when you talk about restricting your access to money. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. To learn more about how you can achieve financial independence, check out these videos we recently posted on the Money Changes Everything channel.